Hey, happy Monday. I hope everybody had a great weekend, and we're trying to update you on all of the cases that took place last week. It seems like we're in court. I think we counted 24 weeks out of a 26-week period. So for the first half of the year, we're in court basically every week. It has been a grind on the prosecutors, but I can tell you they have made a lot of headway, and maybe we'll talk next week about moving some of these older cases, because it's been super productive. This week you'll see a piece of that with the press releases that were released. So we'll just cover them. One in Georgetown, where Eric Wade Hempel, 24 of Georgetown, was sentenced to 10 years on a accessory after the fact to murder. This was a case that we didn't spend a lot of time on because it was pending and we couldn't say a lot about it, but his co-defendant had signed up and proffered, which means agreed to testify against him, and she passed away last week with a fentanyl overdose out at the jail in Georgetown, which made this case a lot tougher. But we were able to show that he at least helped in the accessory after the fact, or getting rid of the body. What you probably won't hear a lot of is that body was found in Williamsburg, totally out of our jurisdiction. So that became a really tough case to get much done. Not that he didn't do it, it's just so critical of where did the deed take place. And if you can't show that it took place in Horry or Georgetown, then you don't have jurisdiction over that case. So we had lost a very crucial piece of that puzzle when she passed away, and we were able to get 10 years on accessory after the fact for Eric Hempel. Also in Horry last week, we had one of these pleas that was Henry Odell Mford. He's 27, lives in Longs, and he was charged with 4 counts of ill treatment towards animals. That can go anywhere from not feeding the animals enough to tethering them and not letting them get enough exercise. It's usually very serious when police get involved, and it was for Mr. Mumford. Those charges carried up to 5 years in prison, and what was very unusual is Mr. Mumford, at a guilty plea, got 5 years. He got the maximum sentence for ill treatment of animals. The dogs were extremely emancipated, almost starved to death, and are now being taken care of by Horry County Animal Care. 3 have fully recovered and rescued. The other one is still in recovery. It's a serious offense. We take it seriously. Obviously, the judge took it seriously and gave him the maximum sentence of 5 years. Another case that took place in Horry County last week, this one was first up on the trial roster, so this is why the plea took place last week. Devin Lee Johnson, a 19-year-old from Loris, pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter as a lesser included offense of murder. This was a beef that Devin Johnson had with the victim, and they had made an agreement to fight when the victim in that case is 21-year-old Tyshawn Smalls. When Johnson pulled up at the prearranged location, he opened fire on Smalls and shot Smalls while he was still in his car, killing him. It was set for first up for trial to start this week and he went ahead and pled guilty to the manslaughter charge and got 20 years. Of that 20 years, he will have to serve 17 before he is eligible for a parole hearing. Doesn't necessarily mean that he'll get it, but he will come up for parole in 17 years. So those are some of the cases that took place in Horry. There were many, many more. We probably handled well over 100 warrants in Horry and probably 15 warrants in Georgetown last week. So it was a very productive week in both counties, and there's a lot of bad guys that are now off the street. And I'll update you on how this week goes at our programming next week.